There's no shortage of videos on this topic, but how about one for non-developers? So what do I mean by this term? These are people who don't develop apps by writing computer programs. Folks who don't use an integrated development environment and a version control system. For developers, integrating Claude Code into their stack is no big deal. For non-developers, trying to learn all three of these at once is like a teenager trying to learn how to drive during rush hour in a foreign city with a manual transmission. So what's the equivalent to learning how to drive in an empty parking lot with an automatic transmission? It's learning only Claude Code. Let's look at some examples of simplicity. What made Google instantly popular was its simple input box. The same was true for ChatGPT. And when Claude Code was launched last year, it had a simple box too. If you're a non-developer and you want to learn Claude Code the easiest way, all you need is this and a folder on your hard drive. So if a developer says you need a bunch of extra stuff, just walk away. You're in learning mode. Before I show off the simple interface, let's discuss two special files. For this demo, I created a few empty folders like Project Alpha. Then I added a Claude Markdown file, which is just a text file, so it can be edited with Notepad. To show how each special file works, I entered one toy instruction into each, like this where I define a custom header. Then, in the Project Beta folder, I created a similar instruction. So for our little test, these project-specific files will instruct the tool to create custom headers. In the .claude folder under my user ID, I created a Skills subfolder and under it a Microsoft Word document subfolder. Then I added a skill markdown file, which looks like this. Between the set of 3 hyphens, I need 2 entries. The skill name is the same as the folder name, and the description says when to use the skill. The rest specifies how the tool behaves when the skill runs, in this case, inserting a specific footer. This personal skill is available across projects. So each document will be given a custom header and each Word document a standard footer. To launch Claude Code in the Project Alpha folder, right-click its name and then left-click Open in Terminal. When the terminal pops up, enter Claude, and there's our simple box. No busy IDE interface with too many windows and menus. I entered a prompt to ask for a Word doc so I could test the Claude Markdown and skill files. When I hit enter, the tool saw the phrase Microsoft Word in the prompt, so it loaded the skill. When it finished the job, it told me what it did, which I'll zoom into. It shows the location of the new document and kind of proudly tells me it followed my header and footer instructions. When we open the doc, we see the header and the footer. I submitted the same prompt again, but this time in the Project Beta folder. When we look at the new doc, we see a header was created, but it was left aligned, which is fair because I didn't give Claude Code any formatting instructions, so it just randomly chose left instead of center. This is the advantage of starting off with simple markdown files. Instead of black box behavior, you're in total control. I'll update this instruction to center headers, and I'll enhance the skill to center footers and titles. I wanted to mention one last special file. If you put a Claude Markdown file in your .claude folder, it applies to all projects. So this toy example will color headers blue, and it will apply to all generated reports. Now let's compare something we know to the new kid on the block. What happens when we give ChatGPT this prompt? Analyze the attached Excel file and write the insights into a PowerPoint document. This is the inferred architecture that OpenAI uses. When we add an Excel file to the chat bar, it's uploaded to a storage server. Our text prompt is sent to a general-purpose large language model like GPT-5. The model generates a Python script to explore the Excel file structure. The script runs on a hardened sandbox server, and its output contains sheet names, column headers, data types, and sample rows. The model generates a targeted analysis script, and it runs in the sandbox. The output contains insights about the data. The model generates a script to produce a PowerPoint document, and it runs in the sandbox. The document is moved to a storage server, and a download link is provided for us. When we click the link, the file is downloaded to our laptop. Now we'll see what happens when we give Claude Code a similar prompt. The Excel file is in a folder on our laptop. Our prompt gets sent to a general-purpose LLM like Sonnet 4.6. The model generates an exploratory script and sends it to our laptop where it runs, and produces details about the file structure. The model uses these descriptions to generate a script to analyze the data. That script runs on our laptop, and its insights are sent to the model. The model generates a script to present the insights in a PowerPoint document, and the script runs on our laptop, producing the desired file. Let's summarize differences. Where do files reside during the process? When we use ChatGPT, they're passed between our laptop and OpenAI servers. With Claude Code, they don't leave our laptop. Where do generated programs run? ChatGPT runs them inside a container that has been pre-configured with the required software. Claude Code runs them locally. So it can hit dependency issues when required software isn't installed on a non-developer laptop. But instead of failing outright, it tries alternatives, which is why you may see error messages before it finds a working approach. You may have noticed that both models run in the cloud. Inside a graphics card, model parameters alone occupy about 140 gigabytes of memory. Most of a model's operations are matrix multiplications, and GPUs with tensor cores perform them orders of magnitude faster than CPUs. So these are the reasons why a Claude model can't run on your laptop. Okay, so if you're a non-developer and you've struggled with Claude Code, I'm here to validate your emotions. I'm not a Claude Code expert, and I did work as a developer for several decades, so I'm not the best person to talk about use cases for non-developers. However, I can just ask Claude Code because it doesn't call specialized models. What makes it specialized for coding is its environment, which can handle files, tools, and agents. So you can ask Claude Code questions just like you would ChatGPT. I feel like I should flash up a disclaimer because Claude Code is about to get real. Are there any use cases where non-developers should choose Claude Code over a chatbot like ChatGPT or Microsoft Copilot? Honestly, very few, and I think it's worth being direct about that rather than forcing weak justifications. For most non-developers, Claude Code introduces unnecessary complexity with little payoff. It is primarily a developer tool, and the honest answer is that it was designed to be. This is Claude Code's "it's not you, it's me" apology to struggling non-developers. It did provide this honest summary. I'll zoom in. When you're dealing with Microsoft Office files, it recommends using Copilot. For general analysis and writing, it recommends ChatGPT. The non-developer use case that is a good fit is when you have many files on your laptop that need to be analyzed. Here are two examples Claude Code proposed which fit the pattern. Look through all my project folders, find anything updated this week, and write a one-page summary. Read meeting notes from all projects during the past 30 days extract action items, and show who owes what and by when. And two examples for leaders. Find resumes for the analyst job, score them against the requirements, and produce a top 10 with concise notes. Analyze written responses in the survey folder, identify themes, and show top 5 wins and concerns. So non-developers can benefit from Claude Code, but it's easier when you treat it less like a developer tool and more like an assistant who has access to your hard drive.